Hello everyone, it's been a while.
Miss me.
Welcome to Lord Pog Gaming, and I'm Lord Pog. A few months back, I had a real felt discussion with James Krik, the creator of the indie game SHIATH. I did a review of the demo, which can be found on the channel under the Free Games That Deserve Attention playlist, but I was fortunate enough to play the full version as well. Not only that, I was also granted a very insightful interview with James Krik about SHIATH. Issue is, much to my dismay, that for some reason, unbeknownst to me, the audio file for said interview got corrupted somehow, and now is riddled with latency issues.
Move this man!
This breaks my heart because we really did have such an in-depth conversation between two gentlemen, where it felt like we have known each other for years instead of just months. Nothing I tried seemed to clean up the audio, and yes, I tried Audacity for those in the back with their hands raised. Sadly, nothing has worked, which leads me to believe that the issue occurred during recording and not during my initial editing stage, meaning that I missed the issues from the start, making me feel even worse about the whole thing. Now, you Golden Wonders out there might be asking, so because of one setback, it's taken you nearly 3 months to post the interview?
Oh, well, allow me to retort.
No. I also have a full-time job that has been less than kind to me lately. I've even developed like a cold because of it. Where I live, it gets pretty freaking cold out there, and they have made me work in real subpar conditions, but I digress. I don't want to sound like a giant baby, but I do work in pretty intensive labor field. Issue is that it's been more intensive than usual as of late. More intensive than what the job is even really called for. All that with the added pressure of being made to feel like I'm not good enough for the deadlines that are out of my control. Because I keep missing these deadlines. And I could say it's not my fault, and you'd have to trust me on that. Because this is all strictly coming from my side of the story. And I don't want to insult you, the audience at home, with the expectation of your incomplicit trust. Or complicit trust. Not incomplicit, but your complicit trust. I'm sorry, I've been taking medicine, and the medicine just has me kind of fuzzy. This is the reason, though. I should say, this is the reason that I haven't posted anything in a while. And that's my honest answer.
You liar!
Whether or not I'm being unreasonable, or the company is, well, I don't really believe in using YouTube to bash the company I work for by giving out specifics like the company's name, or the exact details of their work ethic, or lack thereof in some cases. And if I'm being honest, that's not even why we're here. That's just my explanation or excuse, if you want, for why I haven't posted anything in a while. Why we're here, though, the reason for us being here, I had the honor of getting to learn the details behind such an amazing game like SHIATH, and better understand the method of SHIATH's creation from its creator, James Krik. SHIATH, also known as Something Horrible is About to Happen, throws the player into the shoes of the last survivor of a post-environmental apocalypse.
This is a bummer, man.
As stated in my original review of the demo, its aesthetics harken to such games as Mouthwashing, without it being a one-to-one comparison. Oddly enough, like Mouthwashing, there's a warm and strange inviting feel to SHIATH. The warm glow of the sun on the horizon, the rippling of the water, and your pet dog make the fact that you, the player, are the last human being in existence. Doesn't feel so bad. Yet, despite the inviting atmosphere, there's an underlining dread that hovers just beneath the surface of what SHIATH is at face value.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
That only seems to build more and more as the game progresses. manifesting itself into this incredible fever dream, a sort of folk liminal horror.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
That to me began to feel more akin to a tragic Wizard of Oz than a straight up island horror adventure. As if the ocean is the green curtain, and the deeper I go, the more it lets me peek beyond it, where I'm Dorothy lost in this world, or I'm the cowardly lion because I was never brave enough to save this world. I'm the Tin Man because my heartless actions contributed to what this world has become. And I'm also the Scarecrow because I've lost all power of reason and given up my brain over to desire and not much else, making me brainless and as lifeless as a being made of straw. And that's all. I am less than human now. A joke of my former humanity.
Yeah.
Which is the true horror of it all. It is what SHIATH brings to the table. That fear. The loss of your humanity when you are the last of your kind. The conversation James Krik and I had delved deep into these themes. The liminal horror, the environmental apocalypse.
But wait! There's more!
The characters, gameplay, and themes. Even though it turned out the way that it did in the audio, I still want to do the justice of sharing this amazing discussion with you Golden Wonders out there. Unedited, unfiltered, just straight through. Normally, I don't do that with these interviews. I kind of break it up and interject my thoughts and opinions as I do, but this conversation was so felt, as I said before, between two gentlemen that I think I can only do it justice by just playing it straight through. And because the audio did get so screwy, it's the only justice I can do for it at this point. So I appreciate all of you for joining me on this and seeing just how incredible of a mind that James Krik actually has. SHIATH can be purchased for $1.99 on Steam, and I can't recommend it enough. Seriously, from its gameplay mechanics to its unique style and insightful dialogue, it's a must-play for any horror fan games out there. And before I go, I've got a big announcement for the channel after the interview. It would be a blessing if you Golden Wonders could stick around and hear it.
You're Daisy if you do.
But if not, I'm just thankful you stuck around long enough to hear James Krik, this amazing indie creator, talk with me about his game SHIATH. So, without further ado, let's get on with the interview.
And here we go.
I'm not that professional, you know, like I just...
Well, I don't mind at all. I'm not that professional, so I think that evens out.
Yeah, I like to just feel like we're having a real conversation, but
Yeah.
I am glad that I finally got you on here. And
I am glad to be here.
Well, yeah. I mean, it took a while. It took a while for us to synchronize and get us here, but I appreciate that. I'm so glad that you think enough of this channel that you agreed to this interview.
I'm super thankful to be here. So,
well, I'm Lord Pog of Lord Pog Gaming, and I'm being joined here by today or tonight, wherever it is you are, the audience is out there in the world. But I'm being joined here by the creator of the game SHIATH, and I'm pronouncing that right?
yep.
SHIATH?
Yep.
I'm SHIATH. I'm here with the creator of SHIATH, James Krik. Yeah, am I saying that right? Is that how I'm supposed to be?
It's correct. Sometimes people pronounce it James Kirk because they think that is a
Star Trek
reference, but it is not. Full disclosure, it is not. I was not aware of Star Trek when I invented his nickname. I was not aware at all. So it's not Kirk for that. It's Krik. for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. As far as Star Trek goes, you could do a lot worse than James Kirk. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, that man's a legend. So
Okay.
yeah, that man's a legend. Out of all the starship captains there's ever been, James Kirk is top tier. So,
Well, 11 years old me was a sly fox back then. Actually.
oh, okay. Like the game Sly Fox, or
No, it was the nickname James Krik really just boiled down. It's not a very interesting origin story, but I bought Pokemon Pearl when I was very, very little, and it was probably the first game that I played that asked me to name my character because I wasn't a big RPG fan back then. And I had two ideas that came up to my mind, just random ideas, and one was Johnny DS, which was very original, and the other was James Krik. It won Johnny DS for Pokemon, but James Krik stuck, and well, it's here today. So I guess RIP Johnny DS, but welcome James Krik. And that's just the origin story of the nickname.
well, I mean, people are gonna love it anyways because anything having to do with Pokemon, man, that's a lot of people's childhoods right there. That you know.
Yep.
Yeah. So, James, may I call you James?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, James, so let's talk about SHIATH just a little bit here. I guess my first question for you about that is what is, and you can say as much as you want. You don't have to give everything away, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I totally believe in the magician never reveals his secrets. But, what, the inspiration, just the inspiration, not so much the gameplay, because we're going to get to that. I'm going to ask you a little bit about that in a little bit, but, what was the inspiration behind SHIATH? Like what just went off, what light bulb went off in your head that made you say, you know what? That's the game I want to make.
Even here, interesting origin story for SHIATH. So, SHIATH was actually an idea that came up to my mind like 2.5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, where I simply had an image in my mind of you are a fisherman fishing in this oniric space in the middle of nowhere. You have nothing else if not a tent, a campfire, and a little dog standing right next to you. And the only idea that I had at the moment was that at some point in the game would end with the dog shooting you with a shotgun. Okay, because I wanted to experiment with the idea of comedy and horror at the same time, no? And then that idea tried to take life because I tried to make it, but I wasn't able to because I didn't have the knowledge to do that. I was quite an amateur with Unreal Engine, and I couldn't actually make it in the way that I wanted to. But then sometimes later, I actually pick up Unreal in a more serious way. And then some things began to click. She had firstly had a fishing rod. Then a friend of mine said, "Why don't you fish with a gun?" Because I'm a huge FPS fan. He knows very well. And I said, "That's genius. I will do that. Yes, thank you very much. Now I don't have to code a fish rod, which is harder than making a shotgun." And so that's basically how it started with the whole shotgun thing. And then inspiration got quite transformed from that simple idea of random moments of comedy and horror, and then transformed in something that wanted to talk a bit more about how I felt about the environmental situation in the world that we are living today. And that's when everything clicked and said, okay, SHIATH will become an environmental horror. And that's the thing. Because I think it's a good idea. I still believe that not only SHIATH, but experimenting with horror and the dread that our generation or our time has to cope with the fact that environmental issues are a real thing, and they can spawn some really interesting horror stuff that we haven't seen yet. Of course, I don't want to act like, oh, SHIATH is a groundbreaking horror revelation with mixing environment and horror. Of course not, but it's an interesting trope that I believe should be explored a little more. So that's basically the inspiration, mixing environmental critique with horror to talk about those kind of issues.
Yeah, I could see the environmental aspect behind it. I don't want to give too much away about the game because I want the audience at home to pick up and play it. But I definitely could see the environmental. There are certain times where you, the antagonist, protagonist, are thinking back on better times, I guess, and realizing what you had, and as opposed to what you have now, and how you just kind of stood aside and just kind of let it happen, too focused on yourself to do anything about this, as you said, this issue, right? This looming horror. To me, it feels like a, I don't want to, it in its own way, it's its own genre in a sense, because it does feel almost like a fairy tale mixed with a fever dream. It's not so much gothic, although there is, there is some gothic aspects to it. Honestly, there are times where it feels incredibly gothic, and what I love about the game is that SHIATH is how it's never actually dark. Like the atmosphere is never low lit. It's always it's always that comfortable period. It always feels like that comfortable period between dusk, if you will.
Yeah.
And yet there is this dark gothic, almost fairy tale aspect to this game where it feels like you're in a fever dream. Did you do that on purpose? Was there any kind of folklore that you were incorporating into this somehow? Because that's really what it feels like. It feels like a crazy modern folktale in a weird sort of way. In an interesting sort of way, I should say. Not so much weird, although it gets weird at times, but in a good way.
Yeah. I love weird.
In a good way. Yeah, I love weird too. I especially love it when it's done well. So was there did you take from any kind of folklore or any kind of inspiration from that at all with it? Just out of curiosity?
Yeah, to be fair, no. I just had this vision in my mind of this liminal space, if you want to. Many people compare it to a Minecraft island, of course, because it's blocky. It has this blocky terrain where you are. But I just messed around a little bit with what Unreal gave me, but in the vision was clear in my mind. I just had to find a way to, put it out there from my mind to the PC, to the engine. It just felt natural. It felt good. Because it's horror game, so many people expect horror to be, of course, dark and gloomy, because of course it's easier than to get scared because you don't see shadows and stuff like that. But it's always interesting to push things a little bit to another unusual direction and try to make it okay. Let's make an horror where you are in this eternal sunset. Can you actually get uneasiness from people even in a place that normally would be peaceful? I would gladly stay in the SHIATH Island if I had a way to then, get away from it, of course. But it's not a spooky place. It's not Resident Evil. It's not Amnesia, But no, there is no specific inspiration. Just I had this idea, this imagery in my mind, and I had to. It was quite simple enough to put it out without having anything. I'm not a skilled artist, like modeling and stuff at all. So I went with the I don't know the word for it, but I had to seek a compromise between what I could actually achieve and what my artistic vision was. And fortunately, in this case, the two things overlapped really well.
When I reviewed the demo for SHIATH, and I hadn't originally thought about this as a question, but I feel compelled to talk about this now. It reminded me a little bit in its aesthetic of mouthwashing, and you talk about this being a liminal game, and I think I would say that you nailed it quite well. The liminal spacing. If you don't mind me asking you, if you can, like if you could draw from that creative, because I know sometimes it's difficult to like imagine something and then be able to like piece that together to verbally explain it to somebody else.
Yep.
I understand that. I've tried to do that before, and then I stop and have to look at the person I'm explaining it to, and I'm like, oh, you think I'm weird. So I get it. Believe me, I get it.
Okay.
But with that said, do you think you could explain the liminality a little bit of SHIATH? Because I'm a huge fan of liminal, of liminality, liminal spacing, all of that, So if you don't mind, if you can, as well as you can, let's get into that a little bit about the liminality of SHIATH.
I believe that the first thing that it needs to be taken in consideration is that, much like almost everyone out in the internet, I have quite a thalassophobia in me, and so the simple idea of an infinite ocean is enough to not scare me, but put me in not at unease. And the fact that SHIATH also it basically the whole setting of SHIATH is just 3 islands, which are also very symmetrical. They are not natural at all. I think that's add up to the uneasiness that the place managed to evoke. because nature doesn't have any straight lines. Nature doesn't have that. Straight lines are just artificial. And so the fact that the protagonists find themselves in this natural yet artificial looking environment with only the trees and the rocks standing there, but also artifact way, because, well, without spoiling too much, it looks like it's been set up to something. It's much like something horrible is about to happen.
Yeah.
And the giant sunset, which I want, there was some ideas in my head that the sunset would then become an eye as well. So the feeling of being observed not only by the things that want you in the game, but the whole world is observing you, much like always to push this narrative of look at what you've done, look, the world that you once had is now here to judge you. So I believe that the liminal aspect of SHIATH is that, well, much like liminal spaces, it's simple because many liminal spaces are, well, giant hallways, abandoned office place. The backrooms is, of course, the most known liminal space there is. And I mean the OG backrooms, because now I know that there are a lot of variation. It's hard to keep up with all this new stuff that people come around. But I believe that the liminalness of SHIATH is represented by its few elements, and of course the giant, not only the giant infinite sea, but also the giant infinite sunset. No matter what you do, you never see the night, you never see the dusk, the dawn. It's always this weird sunset that stares back at you, because you sit right in front of it, and you can't escape it, So I hope that's, I wanted to make the players feel observed in every and any way as possible. Many people are disturbed by SHIATH. They maybe do not have fear in the canonical or in what you usually expect from a horror game, but the sense of uneasiness, that's a really hard word to say, uneasiness, it's there, and many people actually felt that rather than fear. So, and that's a win for me. I'm very glad, because SHIATH was meant to disturb rather than scare in the canonical way.
Yes, it does. You definitely feel like you're being watched, much like, say, the Backrooms, which, yes, you're correct. The Backrooms has moved away quite a bit from liminality to just, Indies, the Abyss. But but the original feeling behind it, and in most liminality or liminal spacing, anyways, there is that that sense of familiarity, but and also an unease, almost like there's something there that is just kind of like uncanny, like an uncanny valley type of feel. It's familiar yet alien at the same time.
Yeah. I cannot remove the image in my mind of my old house. The sofa was placed directly in front of the hallway of the house, and when it was dark, you could only barely see the silhouettes of the doors that led to my room and my parents' room, and that image is quite still haunting, just because it's familiar, it's your house, it's your hallways, you always saw that, you will always see that, but in the dark, with the right light, in the right, when things are just right, it's really freaky. It's really, really strange. It's a strange feeling, almost like there is an entity in your own house, which is your own house as well. It's very strange. It's very strange, but I think that's what Backrooms and all this stuff really appeals to, because it reminds me of that.
Interesting. You mentioned earlier, you were saying, something horrible is about to happen, is about to happen. You did, you said the name.
I said the name.
Yeah, you said the name. Oh, he said it. Leonardo DiCaprio. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but let's get into that for a minute. Let's back up. We started talking about liminal spacing, and I was like, we're going to have to touch on that, or I will lose the thought in my head. My next question, canonically was talking about the title SHIATH. And you know, I did touch on its inception in my previous review of the demo, but I'd like to get the actual like story, as we say around where I'm from directly from the horse's mouth, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit, SHIATH, and what it means to you, and it just what inspired that name, you know?
Yeah. So a little bit of context. I am not chronic paranoid, but I am quite paranoid in general about stuff. I overthink a lot. I am quite anxious in general. So, and this is something that I always had since I was a little kid in general. The name "Something Horrible Is About to Happen" is what first came up with, because it was with the premise of, you know, the game was just about you fishing, and then at some point the dog would shoot you with a shotgun, and the whole premise, the punchline was, you know, I would keep telling you something horrible is about to happen, something horrible is about to happen, something horrible is about to happen, and you would wanted to know what the fuck is going on, what is this thing that is going to happen, how it could, where, what is it, and the dog would be shooting you, and you know, it was I would have found it funny, of course, that was the basic idea, but you know, I told you so much that something horrible is about to happen, you maybe expect a big monster or something coming out of the sea, and instead, no, it's your dog shooting you with a shotgun. But I like and that was when it was just a prototype, an embryo of an idea. But I like that. I like the sound of it. I actually enjoyed it, and I think that it fits right, both with the events in the game and with what the game wants to convey. So speaking of environment, etc., if we do not act, something horrible is about to happen. That's the main thing, you know? And then just because I thought, okay, it's a cool name, but it's quite long. I do not know how much people are gonna enjoy that, you know. So I just did the most elementary, most basic thing, and then said, okay, let's take first word of this sentence and see what comes up. SHIATH then made me laugh. Just simply made me laugh because, okay, SHIATH, it sounds similar to shit, you know, like third grade humor, I know, but it's funny just because, you know, when something horrible is about to happen or something horrible is happening to you, you could actually say, shit, no? And SHIATH with my friends, things became SHIATH, and then okay, that's the name of the game. SHIATH it is. Then of course it is an acronym, and it's said there is a title drop in the game, but it's SHIATH on Steam. And sometimes I call it something horrible is about to happen, but you know, it's very lengthy to say. So that's basically it. It fits very well with what the games is about, what the games want to convey, and what the message, the thing that must stuck in your head. I always believe that a good horror haunts you. Also, it doesn't haunt you when you are experiencing it, but rather when you are done and you're alone with your own thoughts, and you know, thinking, yeah, maybe something horrible will happen if we do not take action about this game. Try to tell me, of course, not wanting to sound like a profound prophet or anything. I'm just a silly Billy that makes video games. So I just hope that the few people that played it actually took something with them. Many of them did. So I'm very glad that the people that played it actually got the message, and maybe someone will be recycling more or stuff like that. Maybe turn off the lights when they're out of the room. I don't know, just the simple little things that I would like to contribute to do as a human. And you know, the whole premise of making video games is just teaching lessons in a fun way.
Right, like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Right, like any good form of media, it's not so much to preach as much as it is just to talk, and you take away what you take away from the story, and that's always the best kind of anything. The best kind of anything, you know. Yeah. It's the way it makes you feel personally, and so following this premise, why? I gotta ask you. There's a few. I've got a list of things here.
Okay.
Okay. And I think I understand one just because of our liminal conversation.
Okay.
But and I think I understand another one now just because of the original idea behind SHIATH. But there's a couple of others that I've got to ask. And I'll ask the other two here in a minute, even though I think I got a good grasp on it. Just in case. Why the pig, man? Like, I gotta ask, like, what was the inspiration of the pig? And I'll throw this out here for you. And if I'm completely wrong, just tell me, oh no, that's not right at all. But you know, because again, it's about what it says to you, and then like what the original creator had intended. And then that's what you call like the ocean is a soup, right? So the way I took it, just dealing with the pig is actually the metaphor. Right? It's your guilty conscience. You said earlier when you were talking about SHIATH, something horrible is about to happen. And in the original concept, you keep getting told that, but you don't act against it. And then the dog shoots you, right?
Yep.
Well, now the game has evolved, as it were, and become something more. And the whole premise behind the game is you're a character who didn't act, and so something horrible has already happened. You know what I mean? And now you're dealing with that type of thing, and something more, because it's not done happening, man. And you're still not really acting. You're just living. You're still just living for yourself in a sense, right? Even though you've lost everything and you've squandered the planet and you're the last one. Is the pig a metaphor, man? Is it really your conscience chasing you? Is the pig Jiminy Cricket or Jiminy Oinker, as it were? You know, like chasing you down, like trying to make you, as Carl Jung once said, you know, is it trying to make you face your shadow? You know, your persona?
Yep. So,
Or did I just think way too deeply about it?
no. It's actually, well, it's quite there because I wanted the pigs to be an embodiment of something. There are actually two distinctions of the pigs because there are the ones made out of plastic and the one made out of more fleshy and bone stuff. And they represent basically the two. How do you say? I'm missing the word. It's just on the tip of my tongue. The sides of the coins. It's
both sides of the coin. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, because there is the pollution aspect with the plastic pigs and the more butchery aspect of life and living life at the expenses of other species. But the pigs themselves, yeah, they are a manifestation of your consciousness. They are a not only that, but because you are tormented, of course, you're a character that is quite tormented. So they both play as both your consciousness and both as hallucinations or stuff that wants to. Sorry, my brain is not working.
Like it's okay. Like your madness, your hallucination.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because just to cast a shadow of doubt in are these things real? Are these things just in my head? Is it self-punishment manifested in these pig heads? And secondly, I tried, because I repeat, I'm not a professional. I do not have all these great experience behind it, so that I can masterfully craft something out of the blue. But I like to keep some of the aspects of SHIATH as interpretable as possible, so that even you came up with your own idea of what the pigs were, and that's fucking cool. I really like that. I love that, and that's the objective. That's the point of the pigs. Trying to get each and every person that plays SHIATH their own interpretation of what the pigs are based on the issue at hand. So okay, these represents the consciousness of the character. Yes, they are also something else. They're just originally, probably in my notes written somewhere, I do not know where, they were heralds of something horrible, which, spoiler, this is something that it is never told in the game, and I'm gonna make a confession here. Something horrible is the name of the entity that haunts you till the end. So something horrible is about to happen is literally a name dropped. But because I really like working with abstract things, even my next project is focused on an abstract concept and giving it a physical body, a physical form. So the same thing goes with something horrible, which is this feeling that I carry inside of, which is a mix of paranoia and fear that, of course, something horrible will happen. Eventually, I'm crossing the street and now a car will run me over. I'm eating a fish and now a bone will stuck in my throat. Something like that, So something horrible is the embodiment of this feeling, and the pigs are herald, is an extension of it. And of course, they will haunt you, they will torment you, just because you are being toyed with for once. But yeah, I know I yapped a lot, but yes,
that's okay. That's okay.
The straight answer is yes, they are a manifestation of the consciousness or the guilt of the character that he feels, he rightfully feels, but he's too afraid to face. And it's like when they appear, they taunt you, they mock you, because you do not have the courage to face them.
Interesting.
You shoot them with a gun.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Or you have to get water. Or you get real thirsty. Okay, so that's funny. That's fun because you say that the pigs can be a hallucination, and that was going to be actually my next question about the hand. You know,
Oh yeah.
the hand as I took it was the beginning of a slow decay of there's an old expression, and I don't know if you've heard it before, but there's an old expression that says no man is an island unto himself.
Oh
Meaning-
yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, and that just means that a person isn't meant to be alone for that long. You know, and you touch on that in the beginning when you're talking about the dog and how you're just so happy to have the dog at the beginning of the game
Yeah.
because at least you have a companion, you know? So, I was thinking, you know, as this hand just starts to appear the way it does, and I'm being very vague in a sense because, again, I want the audience at home listening to this to go out and play this game and say, well, what hand, man? You know? But at the same time, you know, I've got to ask, you know, is that hand, is that like a sort of a psychological break, or is that an actual hand, man? I gotta ask, like, you know, like, does that play back into the whole fear of the ocean, you know, type of thing, like, because you don't know what's down there, so you don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Yeah.
we woke it up. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry. It's a mix of the two things because, of course, there is this fear of the ocean, fear of this still water that you do not know what it is, what there is lurking beneath it. But the other, and if you want to take it in a more technical way, it's how thirst and hunger in the game influence your playthrough in a very small way, of course, because I repeat, SHIATH is not a big game, it's a very simple project, and that just I used to kick off my solo dev career and convince me that this was the right choice. But hunger in SHIATH triggers actually hallucinations. So the hand is one of those things. The hand is is a hunger-induced hallucination. Of course, a bit exaggerated, of course, because we are always talking about a horror game, so we need to have some horror elements to it. But I found it that it was before in some other iterations, SHIATH was very much more punishing for the sake of being punishing. So you could actually end the bullets, and that would trigger an end, a secret ending, or an alternative ending. But it wasn't that much fun. So I scrapped it. And also, hunger would reduce your ability to it would reduce your movement speed, would reduce the amount of shots you would be able to, the fire rate of the gun, it would reduce the reload time of the gun, which on itself, it could be an interesting idea, but not for SHIATH. Maybe for a more survival, actually focused game, then yes. But then I had to find a workaround to justify the presence of hunger and thirst inside the game, of course, because you cannot actually perish for those conditions, but they influence the game in some way. They have to matter in a way or so. So hunger actually triggers both visual and audio hallucinations. And the hand is one of them, but there are also a couple more. The fun thing is not everyone will actually find them, because if you keep your hunger and your thirst up all the time, you will never encounter them. But that's something that I really like. I love the fact that some people will have a completely different experience. Well, not completely different. I mean, it's not something that's substantial, but it is something more that, oh, what the hand made a couple of people go, what the fuck, and make them scared. So I'm glad that happened to them. I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of putting the right amount of randomness inside the game, which is by design something that is very constructed and ordered. But back when I was studying, one of my teachers had a fascination for randomness and chaos. He took it to an extreme, but I like the concept. I like that, so I try to integrate this in all my games. Even one of my first game that I put on itch.io, which is very even smaller than SHIATH, like 10 minutes or so, implements this and basically takes all the whole concept of hallucinations, of visual hallucinations, is the friends of the whole game, of the whole small experience. So SHIATH is just has some DNA ripped from it, and I really love the idea of hallucinations, of putting, being a paranoid, instilling this paranoia. I want really people to feel what I feel. So being paranoid and looking around and saying, "Oh, did I just imagine that, or was it actually real?"
That brings me to my next question about did that really happen, or am I just imagining this conversation, we'll say, am I just, and that has to do directly with the, well, at first I looked at it as scarecrows, but now I'm wondering if it's like crucifixions, right? For me, and I'm sure this is just the way I took it, because I see things in an odd religious sense in just about everything. Having, being a theologist and everything, they these scarecrows, the sins of mankind, they kind of represent the sins of mankind. They this conversation you have, and the crucifixion, being crucified for sins of mankind, only instead of this being like a savior's crucifixion, you're more like the other two guys on either side. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're the other two, and you got, and there is two there. Is that, I guess, I guess what I'm asking is that is it is that a mental break as well? Like, are you just imagining this conversation, or are they there, or are they actually telling you these things because something horrible is about to happen and you're still not listening, man? You're still reluctant to act. And I'll tell you, just so you know, both times I about jumped out of my skin in both areas. In both areas. Again, I'm being extremely vague, but in both areas I about jumped out of my skin, especially the first time, you know, I didn't turn around, not once.
Yeah.
Not once. There's an old baseball player by the name of Satchel Paige, right? This American baseball player, and the man could run bases like nobody's business, and nobody could, you know, everybody was like, why? And he said, well, because I don't look behind myself. I just run. And he has that quote, you know, you never look behind yourself because you never know what might be gaining. And the second I heard the noises and I'm jumping across the bottles and everything, and then I hear this noise, I was just like, go, just go. Don't turn around. You don't know what's gaining. Just go. So I can't really contest to what that actually looked like. I probably will play it through again just to turn around and see what it is I missed there. But the first time I played it, man, I am a total coward in that sense. When it comes to video games, I jump right out of my skin and I'm just like, run, just run. You know what I mean? No, no, we don't care what it looks like. We're just gonna go. You know.
I am so glad that this was your reaction. Just what I wanted.
And then the second time, you know, I'm like, it's in front of me.
Yeah, it's a reversal.
Yeah, I was like, huh. And then I'm thinking, well, I guess I'm supposed to go and talk or something. And then it just, and I was like, oh my God. And like, I mean, like, I barely got it leveled enough to pop one shot. You know what I mean? Just like straight from the hip, just boom. And then I was like, oh, I got it. Oh, I got it. You know, I was like, man. I was like,
yes.
I was like, dang you, James. Dang you.
Got it.
I was like, I'm going to pause this and go to the bathroom real quick. But yeah, like, is that all tied together though? That the islands, you know, where the crucifixions, you like you, and they were slow to act, and now you're just seeing the remnants of it, or are they actual reverence or revenants? You know, are they not remnants but actual revenants? And that conversation's happening, and they're really trying to warn you, you know, and you see it, but in your own right, you survive. I guess you could say what possibly took them out. You know?
Yeah. So they are, to give the first answer right off the bat, they are real. They are not a hallucination. They are just very, very weird, of course, because they are crucifix skeletons, basically. So they are alive in a sense, much more like they are there to just they are a representation of sins, of course. The crucifix aspect of it was, well, it was voluntary to a part. Not I didn't thought about leaning too much on Christianity or giving too much a deeper message there, but the crucifixion is always is a powerful imagery, of course, and a thing that I don't know how much people actually noticed, because it's quite hidden, but they are crucifixed with two shotguns, the same that you use, just because the whole premise of the shotgun, of you using the shotgun, etc., is just because to represent in a very contorted and metaphoric way the destructive actions of humans. No, So you use a shotgun to get what you need, much like we, in general, get what we want through mostly destructive actions. Think about mountains being completely emptied for creating servers for our communication, for our technology, crops being more and more used and abused, terrain becoming sterile. This sort of human action is represented by the destructive power of the shotgun. And the two sinners, which are two different persons. I am surprised that one person is basically nailed everything that was in my notepad. It was a comment on YouTube that blew my mind because they completely understand what they were representing, and I was like, you copied my notes, what the fuck? I was really surprised. But they are real. They are there just to not only warn you, but they are a bit of a mockery. Just like, here are two little things. They are here to watch you, to watch the inevitable end of their own species. And they are there because they were the principal, the major responsible for what happened to the world. One being basically a oil industry big head, big boss of the oil, generic oil company. So give it to pollution, the plastic bubbles, the plastic in general, all that thing there. And the other being a butcher, which butchered animals while knowing that everything that he did was a systematic waste, because most of the food that we produce is being wasted daily. So they are there as both a mockery, a little solace, and for the player, of course, and for the protagonist, just to have someone that is not a goddamn talking pighead that just only wants you dead, basically. Also because they came up. Fun thing is that both the two islands, when were not present in the first iteration of SHIATH. There was only the main island, but then I wanted to delve a little bit more in the story and the message, and I added the two islands, and then I wanted to further announce the difference between one island and the other. So having a couple of guardians, in quotation marks, or at least someone that can explain in their own way, in their own little small way, what's happening, what happened, and why they are there. Their fear of oblivion, and one fears oblivion, the other does not give a shit about oblivion. It embraces it completely just because he's sick of everything. And they are that, basically. Well, they are a lot of things, but they are companions to you in this descent into the end, basically. They are already ended, they have gone, they are just there to witness the end of everything.
The Watchers.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. Yeah, it is a very fun part of the game. It is a very fun part of the game. I actually got confused at first. Just on a side tangent, if you don't mind, but I got confused at first. I didn't realize I could go when the first island opens up. I didn't realize I could go over there. And then I just happened to, and I was walking around. I was like, am I supposed to sleep? What am I supposed to do now? And then I look over and I realize, oh, I bet you I can jump on those rocks. And then I did, and I was like, you're so dumb. And I was like, they weren't here 10 seconds ago, dummy. And then I was like, cool, new area unlocked, And then I was like, not cool. But, so,
Get me back to my island, please.
Yeah. Don't look, just don't look. But yeah, so, and you kind of answered the first question, this next question, when you were talking about the endless days and being watched. But the eyeballs,
Oh yeah.
are they just a representation of they have come to gather you? All that have gone before you have come to gather you, have come to witness as you join the ranks, as it were,
Yeah, that's basically eyeballs are an hyperfixation of mine. I don't even really know why exactly. There isn't a particular reason why I are so fixated with eyeballs, but they are present in very much a lot of the, maybe when I doodle or when I just draw something for pleasure, it is a recurring theme. And they especially works in SHIATH for the whole premise of being watched, being observed, being judged. That's the whole thematic that's around SHIATH, the judgment for your action or your inactions, to be more concise. But I can promise as of now that there will be no eyes in the next game, so maybe we are safe from those in the next one. But we will wait. We will have to wait to confirm that. But it is basically that. Yes.
All right, that's what I thought. And then finally, sorry, let me get closer. That's what I thought. I leaned back to pop my back, and then I realized, and I told you earlier, I'm so unprofessional, and I'm like, willing to yell clear across the room at the mic when I just need to, come closer. And then the dog, right? Now, obviously, the dog has taken on quite a different persona than what you had originally imagined,
Yep.
but in a weird sort of way, nothing has changed, in a sense, right? However, this is kind of a twofold question. Are there multiple endings to SHIATH? And the reason why I ask that is because of the conversation with the dog at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The dog seemed pretty friendly to me. Despite despite the inevitable, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dog said some pretty kind things to me, and I had wondered if that was because I always took the time to put its needs before mine, to check on it. I mean, like, I was checking on that dang dog constantly because I was like, man,
Yep.
like, you're all that I have. But I mean, I imagine, some people might ignore it. Not everybody loves dogs. I mean, let's face it. That is weird and unusual. But not everybody loves dogs. So
there are those people, of course.
yeah. So like, I was just curious: is there multiple conversations that could be had with dog? And two, does dog just really represent nature, man? Like the end, like nature's coming? Because I know that the ocean is there, and it's technically organic. It's technically nature, but you get some wild things from it, which lets you know that the ocean is not the ocean how we used to know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, the sun is a part of nature in its own right, but it's watching you, right? Like everything in a sense has become more because of what has happened. But dog, for the most part, dog is kind of like the last vestige of something familiar. You know, you find dog and you're like, I love dog because dog is companion. Dog is here. Dog really keeps me from, keeps me
Going
from
completely mad.
Yeah, exactly. And so is that what dog really represents? Is like the old ways, the old nature, like what once was, the beauty of what once was and what you have lost. And then dog is also the inevitable.
Okay, so I'll answer this question for the last one about the nature of the dog, and then the other about the endings. Just because, as I told you before, there is some people that actually got so close to what I envisioned, if you want, for the characters to be what they represent. And when you said, is the dog nature, is the representation of nature, and the natural course of things is, well,
like Mother Nature's last baby type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks like Lord Pog actually got a hold of my notes and read them, because that's very on point. The dog is both the representation of the something horrible that is about to happen, but is also just simply what nature does best, surviving and thriving over everything. It doesn't matter who we are, doesn't matter how cool we think we are, nature will always find a way to survive and not to last everything, because it's pun intended nature. And to answer the other question, just because it links to it, much like real life, when you are generous and when you are not selfish toward nature, it usually brings some fruits to you, and the same thing goes with the dog. Said you did yourself. The dog was quite kind to me. It was because you were kind to the dog. It's pretty simple, but that was it. There are 3 endings, if we want to be generous, in SHIATH. One that is hidden in a way, but it's something that some people did, some people didn't. Some people did it not on purpose. They did it by mistake. But I wouldn't consider it an ending. It's just a bit of fun that I wanted to have. While the 2 endings, I'm sure that you will, based on what you told me, you have seen the one with the dog and the blue light. That's the canonical good ending, if you want to say it like that. Good ending because, not because it's good for you, but you were good with the dog, and simply the dog is kind to you and just, in fact, reminds you that you have proven to be humane in even at when the situation it was desperate. You could become a complete monster and keep going with this cycle of neglecting everything and just thinking about yourself, but you didn't. So good job, you are a nice human being. That's more James than the dog saying good job. You actually you took care of a virtual dog. I'm very proud of you. Now you can do it also in the real world. So let's go.
Yeah.
Go be nice.
I love my dog. I love my dog. He's my boy right there.
Yeah. And the other ending is the dog being not that much kind to you because you ignore it. And those are the endings of SHIATH. There was, as I told you before, the idea of making a secret ending where, oh my god, you finish the ammunitions and there is something else, but that coupled with the thing that I do not, if you haven't noticed, I do not still know how to make savings in my games. So everything is one big, it's a short game, so I hope that everyone had that half an hour to dedicate to go in one sitting, of course. But the absence of technicality, that's the big problem. That's the little technical things that gets in the way of making more complex stuff. But SHIATH told me a lot, so there will be more endings in the future for the future projects, thanks to SHIATH. But for now, SHIATH just has the 3 endings, and it's good for that.
Well, are you excited? Because I've looked, and I left a review on Steam, and but I looked, and I waited a while to leave a review, not because not because I wanted to see how well it was going to do, because I left the review that I left regardless. I just always do that to, I don't know. I got this like thing about me where I feel like if I leave a review too soon, then it just seems like I'm being like, haha, I got here first type of attitude, you know? I want to kind of share the wealth and let everybody, type of thing. I don't know what it is exactly I'm saying, because it really just makes no sense what I'm saying at all. But with that said, though, it is SHIATH is successful for an indie game. It's getting positive reviews on Steam right now. And so how does that feel? And how, going into your next game, which we're going to get into here in a minute, I won't ask too much about it, but, cause I know, a magician never reveals his secrets, but I mean, going into the next game and having success on, now you said you've done other games. You had a game before this on Itch, which I love Itch. But because you find little gems like this.
Yes, absolutely.
But how does that feel though? Like, this is the one that, though, this was your breakout moment, and how does that feel to put this time and energy, because you said you you had the concept, you had the rough draft, the bare bones, right? The skeleton of SHIATH 2 years ago, right? You said.
Yeah.
And you've sat there, and instead of just getting all antsy and just putting that out there, you developed it. It morphed into something more. You started putting a lot of yourself into it with your thalassophobia and your concern with the environment and your love of dogs and everything. I mean, everything into it. And mind you, it still stays a comedy to an extent, mind you. But I mean, the conversations with the crucified scarecrows, that one, like you said, who just doesn't give a crap. He's like, nah, I don't. Yeah. I'm done. I'm done. Can you hurry this up?
Yeah.
Can you hurry up?
Very done.
It's pretty funny, actually. I found myself giggle at him, like, that would be me. That would be me. I'm the guy up on the cross, just being like, this figures. So how are you letting, like, are you worried now a little bit? Like, I don't want to do this to you, but are you you going in anxious now into this next one? Like, now it's gotta, or how are you feeling about this success? This breakout game that you put so much time and effort into it, and it's doing well. I mean, I saw your post talking about thank you for all the downloads and this and that. So like, spot on.
Yeah. SHIATH was a very important project for me personally. It's as we said before, it's my breakthrough game as a solo dev, because not only I have published some smaller, very smaller games on itch.io and a couple of one board game back in the days. But I previously worked in the gaming industry, if we want, on a more professional level with a game that oh my god, the English words, um, a game that came out last year. Uh, and I was in that case the main writer of the game, and for a part the lead narrative designer of the game.
Hmm.
And during the whole production of the game, I was told, "Wow, you write very well. You are a very good writer. You are good at this, you know." But I, being the person that I am, I very critic about myself. To sometimes even a non-healthy degree, because it is easy to then just downplay yourself and say, "Man, what I do can everyone can do everyone," which I believe it is true if one puts the effort, of course, because I am not I'm not Tolkien.
Well, who
For
is?
example,
I mean,
very good, yeah,
who is?
Tolkien is Tolkien, and that's it.
He set the bar pretty high, you know. Like,
Yup, quite high. God damn it. But that game was heavily based on comedy, which is a thing that I am quite comfortable in. And SHIATH was instead something that first I had to do on my own. Back in on the other game, there was a studio, there was other collaborators, there was wonderful colleagues that helped me out, that made the review. We had a lot of reviews of our own dialogues, and that of course is the process of writing dialogues that functioned, and it was cohesive. I generally respect the work that we put in that game. But SHIATH was made alone. I am a solo dev, and I like that. But that's of course brings some extra challenges, of course, because you have the freedom of doing whatever the fuck you want. But when you have this kind of freedom, you are basically a wild card. So everything goes, everything can happen. You can write whatever you want, and if you do not take that and make it read to someone else and ask for their general opinion, you could come up with something very, very, very strange, and not in a good way. So, yeah. Because I do not want to be that pretentious little artist that I make my artist for myself. I really like. I am a genius, but I'm not acknowledged because everyone else is inferior. You know, all this bullshit of that. Some people, some developers, every creative can actually fall in this trap, but you have to make things that appeal to others for a reason or another. So I was pretty nervous because I believe everything goes. Something horrible was about to happen. I knew it, you know. So, oh my god, what if people don't like the game? What if people just don't get it? What if people simply turn it on, say, "What the fuck is this?" and turn it off immediately? Everything goes. But then seeing the videos, your video, the reviews, people saying there was a specific attention to how the game was written, and that made me feel very good because okay. So even by myself, with the help of others, of course, in the reviews, of course, are very important because SHIATH has been rewritten, I believe, 3 times. With all the dialogues and stuff. But that, of course, felt very good because the year in general, this year has been quite dense, quite full of emotions, some positive, some negatives, some very, 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 very horrible. And reaching now the end of this year with a second project coming up after SHIATH has surpassed my expectation by a lot. I will be completely honest. I didn't expect SHIATH to make me even recoup the Steam fee that you need to pay for putting up a game on Steam. And it exceeded quite a lot that expectation. We are reaching quite a struggle, but we are struggling towards the 1,000 copies sold,
Oh my
which
goodness.
is which is wow. Didn't expect that at all. So very proud of that, very surprised of that, and of course this comes with, as it is imaginable, some expectation for the next game. Not about the others because I am basically known online, but by myself, for myself. And okay, if SHIATH has been able to do this, then the next game must do a bit better. Just even a little bit. I do not care that it doesn't need to make me rich. It doesn't need to make me oh my god, wow, now the James Krik is a renowned designer, doesn't need any of that. I do not wish for that because it is quite pretentious, but I would really like to see a small grow. I prefer growing with the decision that I made of, okay, I am relatively young, I can still make my own games and try to make a living out of it. I discarded the career path inside the industry for many reasons. So let's make this worth it. Let's make this happen in a way that is organic and it is suitable for me. Because for now, the big wall that I come up with is being a solo dev and having to compromise with just like a simple thing that some people made me notice. Some people didn't like SHIATH for that, and I understand why. But SHIATH has a little bit of the artificial intelligence used to create some of the models inside the game, because I didn't have anything, I didn't have an artist, I didn't have nothing, and I wanted to convey something specific. I wanted some specific imagery. But of course, artificial intelligence is very controversial. I myself am not very especially after SHIATH and especially after delving more into the argument, I am not favorable of artificial intelligence being used as a mean to create assets for anything else. You can use artificial intelligence for a lot of stuff, and it is good that we use it, but not for the creative stuff, not for that kind of stuff, because limitations also builds character and creates interesting ideas. The most cliche things to say, but Silent Hill originally, the fog of Silent Hill, which is so iconic, is done to just mask a limitation of the PS1. And without that limitation, we wouldn't have Silent Hill. So taking in account these limitations, I won't create games without the use of artificial intelligence. But that, of course, comes with the limitation of, okay, if I want to convey a specific things, if I want to have a specific character made in a specific way, I need to find a way to make it. So take my cousin and please beg him, please make me a model. I know you are not that good, but please make it. I know that you will make it great. Or pick Blender and learn it myself, which is another thing to learn on top of a real engine and all the other stuff that you need to learn to make a game as a solo dev. It creates a lot of pressure on your shoulder, of course, because you feel always that there is so much to learn, so much to do, so much to grasp, and so little time to grasp it all. You are late. You can feel like you are late, because if you look around, then you see like the Little Company creator. Much respect to Zeker, of course. He's 21. He was 18 when he made Little Company. He's an 18-year-old boy. Not boy. Sorry, I don't want to sound rude or anything, but he's a little genius.
Yeah.
He could retire if he wanted. With money he made with Little Company, he could basically retire if he wanted and live life of that many dream, probably. But he keeps doing it, and that's the stuff. That's the not making a lot. Of course, if you make a lot of money, that's the cherry on top of making video games, of course. But as long as you get to live your life in a decent way, doing what you love, that's all there is to me, honestly. So there is a bit of anxious, but there is also a renowned sensation feeling of confidence, given the reception that SHIATH had. Because if SHIATH has managed to do what it has done, then now that I have learned a lot through SHIATH and through the experience that was making SHIATH during this particular year, I believe that the next game will be a little better. And I hope that every other game that I make will be always a little better than the next. The best game you can make is the one that you will never make, because there is always the next one that will always be better.
Cool.
Sorry for the yapping.
No, that's okay. No, that's okay. That's okay. Yapping is good. Yapping is good. It's always good to hear somebody's create experience and listen to their journey that they take, when creating,
Yeah.
What inspired the gameplay of SHIATH? You said earlier that the idea was you were fishing, and then it turned into, and then your buddy said, "Why not just use a gun and shoot it out of the water?" Is that just what did it? You were just like, you know what, that would be cool, or was there something more to it? Because it's not just a 1-for-1. I see it in the water, I shoot it, and then I get it. Like there's aspects to that game. You got to shoot it, then shoot it again. What are you a fan of what we call here ski shooting? Clay pigeons.
Clay pigeon shooting. Yes.
Are you a fan of that? Do you normally do that? Or are you fascinated with that sport? Like,
yeah. So basically, the first input was my friend telling me, why don't you shoot stuff out of the sea? It's like the stereotype of people going to the lake and shooting the fishes with the guns to fish. That kind of stereotype. And then and also I am a big fan of FPS, as I said before, and jokingly, this is something that I always say as a joke. But there is a pinch of truth beneath the joke, is that every game that you will ever play will always be better with a shotgun. That's stable.
Yeah.
Some people have the grapple hook. I have the shotgun. Just give me a shotgun, no matter what the game is. Even if it's puzzle bubble, I don't care. Give me the shotgun. It's good.
Yeah.
It's better. But
yeah, Halo.
Halo. The shotgun. Master. Jokes aside, the thing then became, okay, we have to shoot things out of the water, but how do we make it engaging in a way? This is always a game, and I live by philosophy that no matter what you do, no matter what your game tries to achieve or what it wants to say, it must have a bit of gameplay to support it. It's like a skeleton of everything that you make. I am not a big fan of narrative games with only narrative bits inside of it. This is something that I am very known between my friends and my colleagues. I am not a fan of that. I will always push for having a bit of gameplay, something that engages me in a ludic kind of way,
Mm-hmm.
So how do we make shooting stuff out of the water interesting? Okay, I appreciate clay pigeon shooting. I would really like to do it, but it is not so easy here in Italy to actually do that very quick, to put it simply. And it worked really well. It did a lot of iteration, even that, because at first I was kind of a dickhead and wanted the experience to be very punishing, just as I told you before, and even the shooting was really punishing. So you could only fire. There was no aiming, because I refuse, and this is still in the game, in the actual game, I refuse to put the classic dot at the center of the screen to aim, because I wanted to give a more authentic feeling for the shooting, and that's when the aiming came along. The aiming was a breakthrough, the feasibility of the game, to the enjoyment of the game, because it went from frustrating to, okay, now I simply have to get good at shooting. And if you were already good at shooting, I saw that in my playtest, during the playtest, there were some playtesters that were avid FPS consumers, and they immediately picked up the game and immediately started to shoot stuff very well. And other players that were not so used to FPS, struggling a little bit more, but it was they actually pick up the pace very quickly, just because also some work went into being generous in the hitboxes and stuff, because the other problem that you could incur is, of course, yes, people will get better at shooting in your game given time. It's not given that players will sink that time inside your game. If they get bored after 5 minutes of missing targets, they will simply drop the game. So you need to make it accessible and satisfying, so that it is engaging, basically. So that's basically the premise of why shooting inside the game, because it's fun. Very, very 101 game design here, but shooting things in video games is basically always fun.
Yes.
that's a very old trick in the book, but shooting is fun, so not. I like it, and it also fed very well this very weird aspect of the game. You are on a desert island. There was a very very early prototype of the game where you picked up things with a fishing rod. But now I could not see the game without the actual shooting things out from the water, just because it complements really well the weirdness of it all. So I think it marries very well, or at least it marries well the two aspects of the game. So let's go shooting some fishes, some bottles out of the sea. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, shoot. I can't picture the game being any other way. So we're nearing the end here.
Okay.
I did want to ask, though. What can you tell me about this next game? You said it was abstract, right? You like abstract things. But is there anything you can tell me about it that, without giving too much away? I mean, I don't even know how to ask it, because I'm like thinking to myself, like, how do you ask a question without asking a question, type of thing, like without like trying to pinpoint something that he's like, I can't tell you. You did say it was abstract, right? Is there anything you could tell us about the next game? And are you planning on like kind of going into business for yourself? Like, well, you're in the business for yourself, but are you going to be like your buddies Luca and Nicola? Yeah. Are you going to be like them and like start your own, like your own, give yourself like, yeah, basically, yes.
So on the topic of that, Nicola and Luca, which I salute if they ever see this interview, they actually kind of needed to open a company because simply bureaucracy stuff, me personally being a solo dev, I do not have to open a company, so I can simply I believe I do not know if there is an English word for it, but I believe the gist of it is keep being a freelancer. So basically to the Italian state, I will be a freelancer which does video games, and that's it. I do not, as for the moment, I do not have the intention of opening a company. Much simply because I want to stay a solo dev, because I find it very fun, and it's something that I always had the dream of. I always have some admiration for solo devs. So there is this thing. Maybe some ego stuff, I do not know, but I just find it really compelling, and the idea of making everything yourself is just so good. Of course, if I can have some help with some things that I do not know how to do, of course. Many solo devs actually do this. They code, they build a game all by themselves, but of course, a sound, a 3D model. I actually have a very cool idea that will come up later, some years from now. But I have a friend of mine that he's in a death metal band, and my dream is making me do a soundtrack for this game by them, because it would be perfect. But I'm digressing. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That sounds really interesting. I was like, ooh, yeah. You have to forgive me if I'm being a little slow or anything, or if like I worked a 9-hour shift today, and I am just, and I didn't even, the last couple of days I haven't even taken a lunch break. That's how badly in the crunch I am in my full-time job. So I'm just a little, but I am taking in everything you're saying, but this is not.
No worries at all. This is being a pleasure, really. But on the topic of the next game, so I'm trying myself to think about how not to spoil it, also how to intrigue a little bit, because again, it's my job. So let's say that it will be a more grounded experience compared to SHIATH. It will have some abstract elements to it, mostly in the villain, which will be the embodiment of something, but I will not say, of course, what. Neither the game will say it, will never say it out loud. So I want to see if people will be able this time to get what the theme of the creature is, It will be it will be an horror experience anyway. Just because I'm a big fan of the genre and I really enjoy making them, so it will be there. And even if I already said, I know that I said it at least for now. Never say never. There is no shotgun involved in the game, so for now we are safe from shotguns. But never say never; they might come up.
Yeah.
If I feel so implied. Let's see. I have to start the cycle of playtest very very soon. So let's see what the playtesters think, and we'll see how about. We'll see what to add or what will improve the experience. But I'm very confident about it. It's larger. It's not significantly, but it will be a larger experience rather than SHIATH, a bit more. How can I say it? Structured.
Right. Right.
Make it like that.
Okay. Does this game have a name? Do you have a name for it yet?
Yes, there is a name. There's also a little mini teaser out there in my socials channels, and it's called Side Hustle. Side Hustle.
Ooh. All right, I like that. Sounds gangster. I like it.
Yeah. I'm very. I can't wait to have some playtests going on because I'm very excited to make it play with someone. So hopefully, let's just see what will happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, James, that's all I got as far as questions go. I really appreciate you staying up as late as you did to have this conversation with me, to have this interview. You don't know what it actually means to me to have genuine game devs like talking to me, you know, my little channel, but it means a lot. It really does. And it just means a lot that you guys like see me and think enough of the stuff I put out and say, yeah, I mean, you know, that
the feeling is completely mutual, really. It is, if for you it is strange that I talk to you, the saying can be said otherwise. You know, it's very strange for me, just a guy here in Italy in a small town being interviewed by someone in the US. You know, it's mind blowing because I would have never thought. You know,
well, I come from a little town in the U.S. too, man. So you know, we're just a couple of small town boys trying to live big dreams, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, I get it. I really do, and I cannot wait to see what you do with Side Hustle.
I can't wait to see you try it.
Oh well, I mean, I definitely will. You know, definitely. I am there. I am there.
Oh,
you know.
Great.
You know. I don't want to brag or anything, but in my younger days, they might have considered me a bit of a hustler, you know. You know, the product of misspent youth. But yes, thank you for coming on and letting me ask you just multitude of questions about SHIATH. Again, it's just so fascinating to me, this game, and I think through just talking to you, I figured out why I felt like it was a fairy tale or the folklore aspect of it, you know. And we won't get into that right now, but yeah, I think I figured out why that rang out so true to me. Thank you again, and
thank you, Lord. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a true pleasure, and can't wait to see you putting out more stuff. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only creative person here. You are as well. So, I'm doing what you're doing.
Currently working on something pretty major right now. Yeah, it won't be done for a while. So when I get that video out, I'll shoot you a link, or I'll give you the. Somebody told me I got some advice that you shouldn't give direct links to your videos for whatever reason, but you know, I think I'm not gonna listen to that as much, you know, but yeah, I think I just won't put like a singular link in like a large area. I think people who I know will watch my videos. I think it's safe to send links to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, so. But with that said, yeah, thank you. Is there anything else you want to promote before we go?
Just shout out, of course, to Studio Ortica, Luca Nicola, and Rampolstinsky. It's always hard to say that fucking name.
Rumpelstiltskin. I'm gonna get you. We're gonna have an interview, bud. I said it when I did the interview with Luca and Nicola. I'm gonna get you, man. You're gonna do an interview with me one day.
It will probably be more easier now to interview him. So, but shout out to them. They are cooking as well. Really, really hard. So keep an eye out on them. And well, basically keep an eye out on small indie project everywhere. Send some love to each and every little indie dev that you know, because they need it very much. Please help the industry, help the gaming environment right now. Support your indies.
Yeah, because the AAA studios aren't bringing it, y'all. They're not bringing it like they used to. You know.
Yep.
I mean, it's just the state of popular media right now. You know, when people don't care about Star Wars, superhero movies anymore, Star Trek, Doctor Who. You know, when those things, you know, and in video games, you know, Assassin's Creed is falling off, Dragon Age is falling off. You know, it's crazy. The Witch is falling off. It's just crazy when that kind of stuff. It shows you just how much these bigger industries have lost touch with their audience, and then you got guys like James Krik here, who I almost called you James Krik. you got guys like James Krik here, who is bringing you well thought out pieces of art. You know, they need your support. They need your support. You know, and same thing with Luca and Nicola and Rumpelstiltskin with what is their, they've rebranded. What is their new studio called?
Studio Ortica, which means should be nettle. You know, the leaf.
Nettle.
Leaf.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nettle. Yeah, I've had some run-ins with some nettle before. Yeah, it stings. Yeah, it stings, man. I don't know if it stings where you're at, but where I'm from, we call it stinging nettle because it'll bite you.
Yeah, it stings very well.
They were once Studio Corrada, now they're Studio. Now they're Studio Artica. Is that how you pronounce it? Ortica? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, support these guys because they're trying to bring they're the only way the things we love are going to survive is now is the time. Now is the time to create. And so and if you can't create, or if you just don't feel like you can, you know, not everybody was born to create. Not everybody's an orator, and not everybody, you know, sometimes I think my only purpose in life is to turn big rocks into little rocks, but here I am. You know, but everybody has the power to support one another. So let's do that. You know, everybody has a voice. And so, you know, let's do that. James, thank you again for coming on. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, and to the audience out there, you golden wonders, remember from my very heart and soul, I love y'all. Thank you for joining us, and y'all come back now. Stay golden.
Love you. Have a good night.
I want to thank everyone who made it this far to the end of the video. You don't know how much it means to me. And if I could, I'd like to implore you to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment, as that puts me in the algorithm and will help my channel grow. My channel has stagnated at 700 plus some change subscribers, and I am thankful for everyone who is subscribed, and I'm thankful for everyone who watches and leaves a like, and I'm thankful for just all of it. And that's pretty much what I want to talk about. See, I harp on this channel a lot about new creators and creating new things. You know, I've made it no I've made no bones about how I talk about how the AAA studios are failing us here lately, and how all our beloved IPs, Star Wars and Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones and all of that, all of it, Marvel, DC, all of it has failed us, and it's really disheartening when you really think about it. I never thought I'd live long enough to see the heat death of Superman and the like, but here we are, and so I always encourage everyone to support these new creators, these guys who are trying to make new stuff out there for us to enjoy, for our future generations to enjoy, because the things we enjoyed are slowly dying, if not already dead. Doctor Who, Star Trek, whatever your poison, So, with that being said, I personally want to throw my hat into that, into that ring and try to become a new creator myself. And I don't know how to make video games, and I don't know how to make comic books, and I'm not, I don't make movies and music or anything like that. But what I do know how to do is actually write. And I've actually been working on a book for quite some time now, for about 2 years, which I know sounds crazy. And I'm about 55 chapters in. And I'm writing a book called The Three Sorrows, or Gate Realm, The Three Sorrows, Dark Crimson. I know that's a mouthful, but there's a reason for it. I'm about 55 chapters in, and I'd like to finish it, but it's just really hard. And I'm going to sound like I'm going to sound really melodramatic and like I'm giving you all a sob story, but I just would really appreciate it if you could hear me out. It's really hard when you work a full-time job also, and your full-time job doesn't really appreciate you, and they feel like paying you to do work, and you do the work, but that just isn't good enough. You also have to suffer. And I know that sounds really irate. I know that sounds like I'm just going completely left field, taking a hard left turn, whatever term you want to use for it. But the truth of the matter is that I'm really underappreciated, and it's really hard. And I'm literally right now giving up my health for it. And so what I'd like to do is, and you have to forgive me, my dog keeps making noise in the background there, but I'm not Hassan Piker. I let them do what they want to do, and if they want to make noise, I guess they just make noise. So you have to forgive me there. But because I love my dogs. I love my dogs. But with that said, I really want to finish this book. So if you all could help me out with that, what I'm going to do is, on my Patreon, I'm going to give out, and this is just the rough draft. I'm not done yet, so please forgive me. The grammar is going to be rough. It's the rough draft, so you're getting, all the grammatical errors, the spelling errors, you're getting all of it, but the spirit is still there. And I've got the prologue, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, and I'm going to give all that out on the Patreon for free. I'm not expecting anybody to pay for it. It's just there for you all to read. And if you see that and you read it and you decide, I'd like to help Pog out to finish this book and help support him to where he could possibly do his channel full time, and we're going to help his channel grow so he could do that full time, and also support him on Patreon so he can finish his book, because it's almost finished. Like I said, it's got 55 chapters already in the bag. And then I just need to go back and smooth out the edges. I would appreciate it. And if not, I understand. I really do. I really do. But we'll see. I'd like to become one of these new creators. I'd like to start leaving a legacy behind for future generations also, because I harp on it all the time. But what good is talking if you don't do something about it? You know, I can talk till I'm blue in the face and talk about how we need new stuff because the old stuff is dead because it got destroyed by these people who want to. Well, okay, I'm about to soapbox it. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to even do that. We know what's going on in these industries right now, in Hollywood and the gaming industry and everything else. We already know. So you don't need me to tell you. So instead of me telling you, how about this? I just create something worthwhile. And with that, I also plan on making a TTRPG based upon the world, the universe I'm trying to create in my book. So if you read that book, if you read those chapters, plus the prologue on my Patreon, and you decide, hey, I like this, I'd like to help support it and get it out there, then yeah. And this is already running on too long. Thank you all again. And I really appreciate y'all listening to me ramble. Again, I've been taking too much medicine because of this cold, and I'm just not all the way here, y'all. But I love you all, and y'all stay golden. Y'all come back now. Love you. Bye.